the energy has less and less games to try and hold on to. So there's less places for that seeker to hide. So therefore it begins to unravel. But it's not someone's doing. Like when it began to happen here, there were so many different awakenings, but then when the real stuff started was when I went to live in Australia or in the forest. So before that, there'd been the recognition of everything. There'd been so many awakenings that I knew this subject inside and out, but there was still that strong energy of seeking. And then I went through 3.5 years of, even when I got there, I knew pretty much it wasn't in the world, but really, really, that energy stopped trying to grab onto anything. There was nothing that I could imagine anymore that would bring me freedom. And it's not depressing. That sounds depressing, but it can be depressing at points when you're really strongly suffering, but there's nothing left in the world for you anymore. Like there was nothing positive that I could imagine that would free me. I couldn't imagine being successful or the money or the home. There was no possibility. So that stopped. That trying to get those things stopped. Then the other side of like all the things that made me unhappy, I began to see that they also didn't have the power to make me unhappy. So like environment and your partner particularly. My boyfriends were always a strong place of, yes, they are definitely the ones making me unhappy. So it's not just that side of like believing that things can make you happy, but also that which you think makes you unhappy. And this is in a way harder because we're so addicted to believing that there are things that can make you unhappy. But there's nothing that can make me unhappy. There is pain that could happen. So you could come over here and beat me, and that would be very incredibly painful. But nobody out there is in control of giving me freedom or taking away my freedom. And that's the same with all these bodies, because who you are is that awakeness, not the body. The body is an instrument of pleasure and pain, and pleasure and pain come and go. They don't give you anything. They're like the sound of the breeze coming and going. They're like smells coming and going, the light coming and going. Pleasure and pain comes and goes. Fear, anger, jealousy comes and goes. Joy, ecstasy, sexuality comes and goes. They don't bring anything inherently in them. They're just different sensations, but we're so tricked by it. And we believe, I think it's measurably stronger actually, the idea of what can make us unhappy. And that's what we're always trying to avoid. So we try to force people to be a particular way. You cannot be this. It doesn't mean you become a doormat. I'm more fiery now than I've ever been. I'm more prepared to say no than I've ever been. It's not being a doormat that I'm talking about. It's so beautiful. There's nothing that can make you unhappy.